Good morning, friends. I am not going to say happy Monday because there's nothing happy about Monday, unless it's Labor Day, Memorial Day, Christmas holidays. Anyway, hey, we are going to finish up our conference previews. We're doing Mountain West, SEC, Sunbelt, the Pac-2, which after this year won't be Pac-2 anymore, and then the Independents. But before we start all that, got some news for you. Got a lot of news for you. So let's go ahead and get to it before we hit the subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything. All right. Jimbo Fisher, he says he wants to return to coaching. All right. Right now he's doing TV work for the ACC network. I think he's doing their school previews. I haven't seen it, but that's just what I read. Anyway, yeah, Jimbo wants to come back into coaching. Somebody will pick him up. You know they will. Somebody's going to get rid of their coach after this year, and they're going to pick him up. Baylor running back Dawson Pendergrass, the Bears' second leading rusher last year, out for the season, having foot surgery. Notre Dame running back Kendron Young and tight end Kevin Bauman, both out for the season, knee injuries. Wisconsin center Jake Renfro may miss the season opener. They're not sure yet, some kind of lower body injury. I guess he's day-to-day. They're going to see what happens there. LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier aggravated the patellar tendonitis that he has and has been dealing with in his knee. But Coach Kelly said he shouldn't miss any significant time, so I'm guessing that means games. Boise State, Colorado State, Utah State filed another lawsuit against the Mountain West Conference, allegingly it improperly withheld millions of dollars earned by Boise State in last season's CFP appearance and misled them about a plan to accelerate Grand Canyon's membership into the conference. All three are headed to the Pac-12 next year, so see what happens with that lawsuit. Young kids, man, young kids, I swear. LSU Tiger freshman running back JT Lindsey surrendered to campus police on Friday after a warrant was issued for his arrest on 2 felony accounts of accessory after the fact to second-degree murder. Lindsey's accused of allowing 2 of his buddies from Alexandria, Louisiana, where he's from hiding out in his apartment or dorm room. I kept getting 2 different stories. He lived in an apartment. He lived in a dorm room. Anyway, 2 of his buddies in Alexandria from Alexandria, Louisiana, 17 and 18, I think those are ages, killed the guy, went to hide out. He hid him out in his apartment. Police found like 2 AR-15s, a Glock pistol, and some other pistols. When you leave a bad situation, because obviously where he was from, if he's hanging out with people like that, not too good of a situation. You get to go off to school, you got a brand new head start, and you go and do something stupid like this. I'm sorry, I know they're your friends, but all they're going to do is drag you to prison with you. Get rid of your dumbass friends when you leave for college. All right, kids? Leave all that crap behind. Start your life over. Otherwise, you can hang out with them the rest of your life in prison. That's your choice. Just dumb. Auburn freshman tight end Hollis Davidson III arrested and charged with felony possession of a Schedule 1 controlled substance. Basically, caught with pot, a vape pen full of pot, and stuff like that. He got suspended from the team. Louisiana Monroe athletic director John Hartwell, he steps down. He resigns. He's going to go to pursue other opportunities. Football coach Bryant Vincent, he's stepping in as interim AD. 12 players from North Carolina State's 1983 National Championship basketball team, coached by Jim Valvano, filed a lawsuit against the NCAA trying to get compensation for NIL from 40 years ago. Judge said, no, tossed it out. I have a feeling this is going to happen. You're going to see a lot of these old teams that dominated football, all sports, football and all that. They're going to come back 40 years later. We deserve some money. They are. And hopefully the judges just toss the shit out, but who knows. And last but not least, the NCAA says no tournament expansion for the men's and women's basketball tournaments this year, but they are still talking about it, so possibly next year they will do that. All right, so let's get started on these conference previews. Last of them, and then next week we go into weekend preview. Can't wait. Mountain West, Boise State Broncos. Last season there, they are going to the Pac-12. 12-2, 7-0, 7-0 last year. Won the Mountain West Championship, beat UNLV. Lost CFP quarterfinals to Penn State. 7 on offense, 6 on defense. Looks like they're going to have a hell of a team again. Junior quarterback Madu, is that how you say it? Madu Masson, he's back. Over 3,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. Only 6 interceptions last season. However, Heisman Trophy running back, or Heisman Trophy runner-up for running back, Ashton Gentry, he's gone. 4 of the starters on offense on the O-line, so that is some damn good news for them. These nation's sack-leading defense, they are pretty much back. Linebacker Andrew Simpson left, went to the transfer portal. Non-conference, South Florida, Eastern Washington, Appalachian State, Notre Dame. That's going to be a good one. San Jose State Spartans, 7-6, 3-4, lost the Hawaii Bowl to South Florida in 5 overtimes. Last conference title, 2020. 5 on offense, 5 on defense, punter coming back, not too bad. Senior quarterback Walter Eagett, he's back, but his go-to wide receiver, Nick Nash, is gone this year. Defense, 5 of last year's D-line and linebackers are all coming back for them. They could be a Mountain West dark horse. You never know. Have some things fall their way. They got some good guys coming back. Keep an eye on them. Not saying they're going to win the Mountain West, but they could be a dark horse in that race. You never know. Non-conference, Central Michigan, Texas, and Idaho. People say, Idaho? Yeah, Idaho's a damn good FCS playoff team. And we know Texas. And then they play Stanford. Stanford hasn't been Stanford in quite a while, but you just never know. They might jump up and beat Stanford. Stanford might be back. Who knows? That's going to be an interesting game, too. UNLV Rebels. Former Mississippi State head coach, Florida head coach, and ESPN guy Dan Mullen. He's the Rebels' new head coach. 11-3, 6-1 last year. Lost to Boise State in the Mountain West Championship. Beat Cal in the LA Bowl. Last conference title was in the Big West back in 1994. It's going to be tough for Coach Dan, though. 1 on offense, 1 on defense. Quarterback Malik Williams is gone. Michigan transfer Alex Orji, I think that's how you say his name. He steps in, so we'll see what happens there. Defense is full of transfers. Coach McMullen's probably got his hands full this year. Non-conference, Sam Houston, UCLA, Idaho State, Miami of Ohio. Air Force Falcons, I don't know what happens to them in the last few years. 5-7, 3-4, won their first game last year, lost the next 7, won the last 4. Last conference title back in the old WAC, 1998. 6 on offense, 4 on defense, and the punter coming back. They do need a quarterback. Fullbacks, so Dylan Carson and Owen Allen, they return. Most of the defensive line returns for them. They do have holes to fill throughout the rest of the defense. Non-conference, Bucknell, Navy, Army, UConn. Colorado State Rams, last season, they're moving to the Pac-12. 8-5, 6-1, lost the Arizona Bowl to Miami of Ohio. Last conference title was back in 2002. 5 on offense, 1 on defense. Junior quarterback Braden Fowler, Nick Holsey, he returns. 3 O-linemen, though, they are gone, as in star wide receiver Torrey Morton. New defensive coordinator, though, Tyson Summers, trying to pump them up. But only defensive lineman, how do you say his name? Makindi Wakalangi? Yeah, he's the only one that returns. Non-conference, Washington, Northern Colorado, UTSA, Washington State. Fresno State Bulldogs, last year they're going to the Pac-12. New head coach Matt Entz. 6-7, 4-3, lost to Northern Illinois in the Idaho Potato Bowl. Last conference title was 2023. 2 on offense, 3 on defense, the kicker and the punter. New OC Josh Davis. He was excellent at South Dakota. Good O-line coming back. Went through only two starters returned, though. New defensive coordinator Nick Benedito from Northern Illinois. He comes over. Their non-conference is Kansas, Georgia Southern, Oregon State, and Southern. Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, 5-7, 3-4. Last conference title back in the old WAC, 2010. 5 on offense, 4 on defense, kicker, not too bad. OC is Anthony Arsenault. Is that how you say it? Anthony Arsenault? But former Hawaii quarterback Timmy Chang, who's been the coach there the last couple of years. He is going to keep calling plays. 3 returning starters on the O-line, so not too bad. Defense. They haven't haven't even been average the last couple of years. I guess that's a nice way to say it. Both safeties return, as the linebacker Jaden Smith, but they're going to have to rebuild that defense. Non-conference, Stanford, Arizona, Sam Houston, and Portland State. Nevada Wolfpack, 3-10, 0-7. Seems like they haven't been good since Chris Alt was there. Last conference title was in the WAC, 2010. 3 straight 10-loss seasons, worst since jumping to FBS in 1992. 3 on offense, 1 on defense coming back. That's just not good. Quarterback Brandon Lewis transferred to Memphis. Purdy and Bianco, they're going to battle for the quarterback position. Defense needs work. They only had 14 takeaways last year and 14 sacks and allowed 200 rushing yards against them last year. Only defensive tackle Thomas Witt returns. Transfer portal, man. Hit Nevada hard in the offseason. Non-conference, Penn State, Sacramento State, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky. So that's going to be a tough one. Utah State Aggies, they're going to the Pac-12 next year. 4-8, 3-4. Beat Rob Morris in their first game last year. Came back, lost the next 6. Last conference title, 2021. 2 on offense, 3 on defense. New head coach Bronco Mendenhall. Remember, he's at BYU. Fantastic job at BYU. Went to Virginia, did all right. They won, I think, 3 bowl games while he was there. Well, he's back on the West Coast now. Mountain area. For Utah State. So that's cool. See how they do. Offense, though, he needs to totally rebuild it. But dual threat quarterback senior Bryson Barnes returns. Nose tackle Gabriel Inquez. He returns from injury. And they picked up some good transfers for defense, too. So we'll see how they work out. Non-conference, UTEP, Texas A&M, McNeese, and Vanderbilt. Wyoming Cowboys, 3-9, 2-5. They beat Washington State last year. Washington State's a good team, so that's a highlight from their season. Last conference title, of course, the old WAC, 1993. 4 on offense, 1 on defense. Didn't really lose all that much to the transfer portal, though. Their depth kind of stayed there. Kept most of the roster intact. No Boise State this year, so that's good. And 4 of their first 6 games are at home, so they got some things working for them. Non-conference, Akron, Northern Iowa, Utah, Colorado, so that's not an easy schedule. San Diego State Aztecs to the Pac-12 next year. 3-9, 2-5. Started 3-3. Lost the last 6 games. Last conference title was 2020. 3 on offense, 10 on defense coming back. And the kicker. Michigan quarterback Jaden Denegal, he transfers in. They have a pretty good offensive line. The only new player on defense is the nose tackle. So, and they're going to be switching from a 3-3-5 to a 4-2 this year. So let's see if that can help out the defense. Non-conference, Stony Brook, Washington State, Cal, Northern Illinois. And last but not least, New Mexico Lobos, 5-7, 3-4. They were a great team last year. They just could not finish games. Really, they 16 points away from being an 8-win season last year. They just could not finish games. Last conference title, can you guess? Yep, the WAC. Can you guess when? 1964. 2 on offense, 3 on defense, and the kicker coming back. They've got the most depleted roster in the Mountain West this year. However, Jason Eric from Idaho, he's the new head coach, taking Idaho to the FCS playoffs the last few years, so maybe New Mexico's on its way up. Non-conference, Michigan, Idaho State, UCLA, New Mexico State, their rival. All right, some of the big games in the Mountain West on August 23rd. Hey, that first Saturday, we got about 10 games or so. Fresno State and Kansas. That could probably be a pretty damn good one. I think it's in the afternoon. If I remember right, because I looked at the schedule a couple times. But we'll go over that next week. But I think that game's in the afternoon. And then on September 6th, UCLA at UNLV. October 4th, Boise State at Notre Dame. That should be a pretty damn good one. And then the same day, service academies always have good games. Air Force at Navy. October 8th, Is that right? 8th or the 18th? I think it's the 8th. Anyway, UNLV at Boise State. That'll be a pretty good one. Another Service Academy game, November 1st. Army and Air Force, same day, Fresno State at Boise State. Another good one. And then the 29th of November, UNLV at Nevada. Moving on to SEC. Texas Longhorns, 13-3, 7-1. Lost the conference championship game to Georgia. Beat Clemson in the first round. Beat Arizona State in the quarterfinals of the CFP. Lost the semis to Ohio State. Last conference title, 2023 in the Big 12. 3 on offense, 5 on defense. Arch Manning is there. Everybody's talking about that. He's all the talk. Running back junior Quintravion. I can never say his name. Quintravion Wisner. He's back. Defensive junior linebackers Anthony Will and Leona LaFar return, as does a couple of starters in the secondary. Non-conference. Boy, that first game, Ohio State. All eyes are going to be on that one. Then they got San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston is the rest of their non-conference schedule. LSU Tigers, 9-4, 5-3, beat Baylor in the Texas Bowl. Last conference title, 2019. 4 on offense, 2 on defense. Kicker coming back. We talked about Nussmeier. He's having a little problem with his knee again. He's back. They got to replace 4 offensive linemen, though. This is not the year to do it. Defensive linebacker, Whit Weeks, he returns. Harold Perkins, he has been moved to star position. So we're going to see how he works out there. It says like a linebacker safety hybrid. So we'll see how that works. Non-conference, right off the bat, Clemson, Louisiana Tech, Southeast Louisiana, and Western Kentucky University. These big games, like LSU always plays a big game, first game of the year. Good for us fans, but if I'm a true diehard fan of a team and they're playing a big-time team the first game, no, I don't want that. I want some warm-up games to get over the mistakes and everything. Games I know that I can win or I should win to get all the kinks and the mistakes out. LSU, they don't give a shit. They'll play anybody the first game. And as we've seen in the past, it doesn't work out for them. So, anyway, off my soapbox, Alabama Crimson Tide. They are pissed about missing the playoffs. They could be a dangerous team. 9-4, 5-3. Lost to Michigan, though, in Rely Quest Bowl. Last conference title, 2023. 6 on offense, 7 on defense. So that looks pretty good. Great wide receiver room. O-line looks good for them. But what about junior quarterback Ty Simpson? Only 50 attempted passes last year. Defense, entire secondary returns, as does 2 of their linebackers. Non-conference, right off the bat, Florida State, their quarterback's talking crap. Louisiana Monroe, remember Louisiana Monroe beat Nick Saban in his first year. I'm not saying they're going to win this year, but hey, you never know. Wisconsin, they play Wisconsin again, and Eastern Illinois. Georgia Bulldogs, 11-6, 6-2, SEC champs. Beat Texas, but in the SEC championship game, lost the quarterfinals in CFP to Notre Dame. 4-0, or 4 on offense, 3 on defense. Kicker and the punter coming back. Carson Beck's gone. He went to Miami, as is most of the O-line. But junior quarterback Gunnar Stockton did win the SEC championship over Texas. Remember, he came in when Beck got hurt. Defense, they lost 7 people to the NFL. Only 2 returning starters from the front defensive 7. Non-conference, Marshall, Austin Peay, Charlotte, and their showdown with Georgia Tech, who is a damn good team now. Oklahoma Sooners, 6-7, 2-6, lost the Armed Forces Bowl to Navy. Last conference title, 2020 in the Big 12. 3 on offense, 6 on defense. New OC Ben Arbuckle from Washington State. He brought junior quarterback John Mater with him. Those 2 together are responsible for Washington State averaging 37 points on offense. Their offense should be a lot better than it has been. Head coach Brent Venables will serve as defensive coordinator again. 4 of the front 6 return on the defense. 2 in the secondary or starters. Non-conference, Illinois State, Michigan. Michigan comes to Norman this year. Temple and Kent State. South Carolina Gamecocks, 9-4, 5-3, lost the Citrus Bowl to Illinois. 5 points and a couple bad plays away from having 11 wins last year. Totally crazy. Last season, only Ole Miss blew them out. They were pretty much in every game. Last conference title, back when they were in the ACC, back in 1969. 5 on offense, 4 on defense. Sophomore quarterback North Sellers is back. Can't wait to see what this guy does this year. Defensive end, sophomore Dylan Stewart, he's back also. South Carolina is just moving up steadily each year. It's just it's pretty incredible to see what Beamer's done there. Non-conference, Virginia Tech. Ooh, Dad's old team. South Carolina State, Coastal Carolina, and then their annual rivalry with Clemson. Florida, 8-5, 4-4, beat Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl. Last conference title, 2008, back with Tim Tebow. Hey, though, 6 on offense, 7 on defense, and a kicker. DJ Lagway's back. I think I already hurt his knee in spring practice or something, but I think they say he's going to be good to go. Hey, he's got all 4 offensive linemen are coming back, so if he's playing injured, he's going to need them. Of course, the big question is, can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy the whole year, I think they're going to have a damn good year. Non-conference includes Long Island, South Florida, Miami, Florida State. Ole Miss Rebels, 10-3, 5-3, beat Duke in the Gator Bowl. They were 13 points away from being undefeated last season. Last conference title, 1963. 3 on offense, 2 on defense coming back. Have to replace 18 starters, including Jackson Dart. Sophomore quarterback Austin Simmons takes over. Picked up quite a few veterans, wide receivers, and O-line from the transfer portal, so that can help them out. Linebackers T.J. Doherty and Suntrain Perkins are the only returning defensive starters. Non-conference, Georgia State, Tulane, Washington State, Citadel. 5 of their first 6 games are at home. They're in Vaught Hemingway. That's what you want, man. That's the kind of season that's the way you want to start off a season. Auburn Tigers, 5-7, 2-6, started 2-1, went on a 4-game losing streak last year. This is going to be a make or break year for Hugh Freeze. They do good, I can see them keeping him. If they do not good, I see him out of there before December. It's just not working out there. I don't know what the hell the problem is. Last conference title for the Tigers, 2013. They do got 5 on offense, 5 on defense coming back, plus the kicker. Great wide receivers they got. But junior transfer quarterback Jackson Arnold, he has got to be on the money. If they're going to win, he's got to be on the money. Defensive linebackers are younger and transfers, but they are veterans. They've started on other teams. Secondary looks okay. Non-conference, that first Friday night, Baylor. They go to Waco. Ball Street, South Alabama, Mercer. Missouri Tigers, 10-3, 5-3, beat Iowa in the Music City Bowl. 2 of their 3 losses were a combined 65 points. Woo! Last conference title, the old Big 8. Remember the Big 8? Back in 1969, last time Mizzou won the conference. But remember, they did play for it in one of their first 2 years. They went to Atlanta and played for SEC, but lost. 4 on offense, 7 on defense. Kicker, Penn State transfer Bo Pribula. He's the new quarterback behind 3 new offensive linemen. They do have great depth, though. So if one of those offensive linemen gets hurt, a good one can come in. They are loaded up on defensive line. The linebacker, good depth there. Non-conference, Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Massachusetts. 2 great seasons they have had back-to-back, but not even Missouri greats Dan Devine and Gary Pinkel had 3 great seasons in a row. So good luck, Eli. Let's see if you can do it. Tennessee Vols, 10-3, 6-2. Lost the CFP first round to Ohio State. I really thought they'd do better against Ohio State in that one, but Ohio State won. Last conference title, 1998 under Philip Fulmer. You know who the quarterback was? No, it wasn't Peyton Manning. It was T. Martin. That was a national championship season, too. 3 on offense, 7 on defense, kicker and a punter. Offense is questionable. New quarterback, senior Joey Aguilar, 24 interceptions while he was playing at Appalachian State. New starters at running back, wide receiver, and O-line. At least defense looks pretty stout. They got some guys coming back, 7 of them. So non-conference, Syracuse, man, they go to Syracuse. East Tennessee State, UAB, New Mexico State. Texas A&M Aggies, my beloved underachievers, 8-5, 5-3, lost to USC in the Las Vegas Bowl. For last conference title, Big 12, 1998. Beat Kansas State that year, if I remember that in that game. 6 on offense, 7 on defense, kicker and the punter. O-line's coming back. They're veterans. Marcel Reed, quarterback, he comes back. So does running back Lavian Moss. They got that badass wide receiver from NC State, KC Concepcion. Remember, I think it's that first game, I think it was against East Carolina, if I remember right. It could be some other team. Man, that dude's catching passes everywhere, so I'm happy about that. Defense returns most of its starters. Should be a lot faster this year. Non-conference, UTSA, Utah State, going to Notre Dame this year. And Samford, every year the media tries to tease me and say how good Aggie's going to be. I learned years ago, don't listen to the media. So I'm making my own prediction here. They've got to start off, these first few games, UTSA, Utah State at least, they've got to come out on fire and kicking ass. They're out there, it's 7-0 at halftime or 10-7, 10-3 at halftime. That tells you right there, it's going to be an 8-win season, maybe 9 if you get lucky. Because if you can't come out on fire and kick the crap out of lower-level teams like that, then your season is just going to be average. That's what I've learned watching the Aggies the last few years. All right. Anyway, Arkansas, Razorbacks. This is a win-win situation. If you're an Arkansas fan, no matter what happens this year, you're win-win. Because if you have a great season, you're going to keep Pittman, who's a good coach. If you don't have a great season, you got Petrino waiting right there. So, Arkansas fan, no matter what happens, you're win-win this year. 7-6, 3-5, beat Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl, and Texas Tech's a damn good team. Last conference title, the old Southwest Conference, 1989. 3 offense, 3 on defense, and the punter coming back. So, lost 3 starters to Ole Miss in the transfer portal. Ole Miss came down and said, give us those. They left. Senior quarterback Taylor Green, he's back. A lot of fresh faces on the wide receiver line. Defensive tackle and 2 linebackers come back for the defense. Non-conference, Alabama A&M, Arkansas State, Memphis, and Notre Dame. Wow, that's crazy. Notre Dame on the schedule. Vanderbilt Commodores, 7-6, 3-5. Could easily have been 10-3. They only lost 3 games by a combined 10 points. Beat Georgia Tech in the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech, we've seen how good they've been lately. Last conference title. You ready for this? 1923 in the old Southern Conference. The last time Vanderbilt won a conference title. 4 on offense, 7 on defense. And the kicker coming back. Diego Pavia, he's back. We've seen what he can do. They have to rebuild their O-line, though. O-line, they're gone. Guys from last year. They picked up some through the transfer portal, I know that. Veteran defense returns. Non-conference, Charleston, Southern, Virginia Tech, Georgia State, and Utah State. They played quite a few there. Kentucky Wildcats, 4-8, 1-7. Started 3-2 last year, including a 1-point loss to Georgia. Man, they almost had Georgia last year. Then went 1-6. Last conference title, America's Bicentennial, 1976. 3 on offense, 4 on defense coming back, plus the punter. Zach Calzada transfers in from Incarnate Word. I'm telling you, living here in Texas, we see this guy a lot on news highlights and games. Zach Calzada, he's a damn good quarterback. So Kentucky fans, you should be pretty optimistic about this. The only thing is, that's FCS. He's played against some of these SEC defenses who we know are a hell of a lot faster than some of these FCS ones that he played against. But he does have some speed to scramble. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he does. They brought in 6 new O-linemen from the transfer portal, but they are from Group of 5 schools. So nobody's played these SEC defenses that they've brought in. The transfers did fill a lot of defensive holes. 2, don't know if they came from Group of 5 or Power 5. Non-conference, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee Tech, and Louisville. And Mississippi State Bulldogs. Man, poor Mississippi State. What are we going to do with you guys? 2-10, 0-8, 8-game losing streak last season. Last conference title, World War II, 1941. 6 on offense, 4 on defense, and the kicker coming back, so that's not bad. More than 24 players left Mississippi State in the offseason through transfer portal and other things. Senior quarterback Blake Shapen is back. Run game looks pretty good, though. The running back room does look pretty good. Linebackers, they are the anchor for their defense. D-line is secondary, kind of questionable. A lot of people left. Non-conference, Southern Miss, Arizona State, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois. Some of the big games in the SEC, not all of them. That first Saturday, 8:30, or is that might be Sunday. I have to look, August 30th. Alabama going to play FSU and their shit-talking quarterback. Same day, LSU at Clemson. Okay, that's probably going to be Saturday then, because on that same day, you got LSU playing Clemson and Texas playing Ohio State. September 6th, Michigan comes down to Norman, plays Oklahoma. September 13th, Wisconsin goes to Alabama. Florida, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. September 13th. That's going to be a stacked Saturday there already. And that's just SEC. September 20th, Florida at Miami. September 27th, Alabama at Georgia. Same day, LSU at Ole Miss. October 4th, Texas at Florida. October 11th, Georgia at Auburn. They call it the oldest rivalry in the South. That same day, South Carolina goes to Baton Rouge, play LSU. That's the OU Texas day, too. October 18th, Tennessee at Alabama, third Saturday in October. October 25th, Alabama goes to South Carolina. Remember, South Carolina came so close to beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Maybe they can do it in Columbia this year. November 1st, Florida, Georgia, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I'll say it because no TV is telling me, I can't do that. November 8th, LSU at Alabama, classic showdown all the time. Next week, November 15th, Oklahoma goes to Alabama. Remember Oklahoma beat Alabama last year? Well, now they're going to Tuscaloosa this year. The same day, Texas goes to Georgia, playing there in Sanford Stadium. Florida and Ole Miss that same day. November 22nd, Tennessee at Florida. That's always been a pretty good game the last couple decades. The 28th of November, that annual Georgia Tech game. That's always a good one. Texas A&M plays Texas. 29th of November, Alabama and Auburn, Iron Bowl. Then you also got Clemson, South Carolina, LSU, and Oklahoma. So a lot of these Saturdays are stacked for some damn good SEC games. So hopefully the Big Ten and everybody else, ACC, will get in on that, and we'll just have quite a few Saturdays of stacked games. I mean, that's what we want. It's great games from morning till 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Sunbelt Conference, James Madison Dukes, 9-4, 4-4. Won the Boca Raton Bowl, beat Western Kentucky. 5 points away from having an 11-win season last year. Last conference title in the old CAA 2021. 3 on offense, 4 on defense coming back. Loaded quarterback room, though. They got quite a few quarterbacks in there. Starter Alonzo Barnett, he's coming back. Richmond's Camden Coleman transfers in. And Matthew Sluco from UNLV. Remember him? He quit on his team. UNLV proved they didn't need him. Well, he's over there at James Madison now. So you got to wonder if you're Duke fans, like, is this guy going to quit on us? I mean, you just can't help but wonder. Wide receivers, running backs, they look pretty good there. Defense, rebuilt line and secondary. Linebackers look all right, but the defensive line and secondary for them has had to be rebuilt. Non-conference, Weber State, Louisville, Liberty, Washington State. So it's not that easy of a non-conference schedule for them. Georgia Southern Eagles, 8-5, 6-2, lost the New Orleans Bowl to Sam Houston. Last conference title, 2014. 5 on offense, 6 on defense, and the punter. Junior quarterback J.C. French returns. The entire O-line returns. They got some good offensive weapons on their wide receiver and running back front. D-line, that's the biggest strength on the defense. They're all coming back. Linebacker, core, and the secondary, they all got rebuilt from the transfer portal. Non-conference, Fresno State, USC, Jacksonville State, and Maine. Arkansas State Red Wolves, 8-5, 5-3, beat Bowling Green in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Lost to Michigan by only 10 points last year. Almost beat Michigan. Last conference title, 2018. 4 on offense, 1 on defense, and the kicker coming back. Jalen Rayner, junior quarterback, he returns. Wide receiver senior. There we go. Lowry Raver, good running back with Jaquez Cross. That's how you say his name. So they got some offensive weapons coming back. Their defense, their top 10 tacklers from the starters to the secondary, gone. All those guys left. Non-conference, Southeast Missouri State, Arkansas, Iowa State, Kennesaw State. Texas State Bobcats, last year, they're going to the Pac-12 for some reason. I don't know. Whenever you see a team like West Virginia join the Big 12, I'm like, that's really not in the region. So even though Texas State, I root for them, they're just right up the road. I don't know why they're going to the Pac-12. I really don't. I mean, well, in CFP playoff potential, but 8-5, 5-3, beat North Texas in the First Responders Bowl. They were 4 points away from being a 10-win team last season. No conference titles since they've jumped up to FBS, which they've been in FBS for 15 years now, maybe, something like that. 2 on offense, 2 on defense, plus the punter. Looks like it's going to be a 3-way quarterback battle for them here in fall camp. 2 offensive linemen return. Defense, only 2 safeties returned as starters. Non-conference, Eastern Michigan, UTSA, Arizona State. They only lost to Arizona State by 3 points last year. And Nichols. South Alabama Jaguars, 7-6, 5-3. Beat Western Michigan in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. No conference titles for them. 4 on offense, 3 on defense. The punter. They did lose their quarterback, Gio Lopez, and running back, Fluff Brothwell, and much of the wide receiving core in the offseason. Defense lost all their defensive line starters, but good news, linebackers do return. Looks like it might be kind of a tough year for them. Non-conference, Morgan State, Tulane, Auburn. Ooh, I mean, I know Auburn's not the Auburn, but still. And North Texas. Let's see, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, 10-4, 7-1. Lost New Mexico Bowl to TCU. They won 6 games in a row at one point last year, so they have a pretty damn good team. Last conference title, 2021. But 2 on offense returning, 4 on defense, and the kicker. LSU, Ole Miss transfer quarterback, Walker Howard, he comes in. Rest of the offense does look pretty good, though. However, defense, you're getting a total rebuild, like an old Chevy 350. Non-conference, Rice, McNeese, Missouri, and Eastern Michigan. McNeese is no pushover, so. And then being, I-10 battle right there, McNeese is going to come play their asses off. Appalachian State Mountaineers, what has happened to you? 5-6, 3-5, last conference title, 2019. They used to be the giant killer. I don't know what happened to them. 2 on offense, 3 on defense. 2 good quarterback transfers did come in. A.J. Swan, he was at LSU and Vanderbilt. And J.J. Call, he was from Iowa State. Defense, they lost their linebackers, Brandon Harrington, Nate Johnson. Also lost defensive end Santana Hopper. So, looks like the woes are going to continue for the Mountaineers this year. Especially with this, non-conference. All right, Charlotte, Lindenwood, but they got Boise State and Oregon State. Old Dominion Monarchs, 5-7, 4-4. No conference titles for them since they jumped up to FBS. 3 on offense, 4 on defense. Sophomore quarterback Colton Joseph, he returns. An experienced O-line returns for them. Running back room is suspect, but they do have good wide receivers, so maybe the offense can get going. Experienced O-line, so that's going to help them too. Good linebacking group. Linebackers come back for them also. Non-conference, Indiana. See how Indiana is this year. North Carolina Central, Virginia Tech, and Liberty. Coastal Carolina, how do you say their name? Chanticleers? Is that how you say it? I can never say it. Chanticleers. Looks like a blue rooster. So 6-7, 3-5. Lost the Myrtle Beach Bowl to UTSA. Last conference title, 2020. 2 quarterbacks. Their 2 quarterbacks transferred out. 3 come in. Most notable, M.J. Morse, who was at NC State and Maryland. Offensive line coming back. They look good. Wide receivers look good. Defense, nose tackle, Sawyer Gorm, Welch, and linebacker Shane Bruce. They all return. That's it for the rest of transfers for their defense. Non-conference, Virginia, Charleston, Southern, East Carolina. Ooh, South Carolina too. Troy Trojans, who used to be a damn good team. 4-8, 3-5. Last conference title 2023. 4 on offense, 4 on defense, and the kicker coming back. Junior quarterback Will Crowder. He returns from injury last season. They got some good running backs, some good wide receivers. 3 returning O-line, guys on the O-line, so that'll help them out. Defense, they need a pass rush, though. They really need to learn how to rush the passer, but maybe part of their problem the last few years. They allowed opponents to complete 67% of the passes last year. You really got to work on that, guys. Only returning starter, 1 returning starter. He's in the secondary. And for some reason, I don't have their non-conference schedule written down. Oh, well. Happens when you're doing a whole crap load. Southern Miss Golden Eagles, 1-11, 0-8 last year. Beat a good Southeast Louisiana team last year, but that was it. Last conference title, 2011 in Conference USA. 2 on offense, 1 on defense. Former Marshall head coach Charles Ruff takes over. He also brought the quarterback from Marshall, Braylon Braxton. 40 new faces transfer in on this one. Southern Miss hasn't beat an FBS team since 2023. And Charles Huff's a damn good coach. He took Marshall to the conference championship game last year. They wouldn't give him a new deal, so he bailed on Marshall and said, if y'all can't give me a new deal, I'm out of here. And he was. He's that. I probably would have stayed at Marshall. I probably would have stayed and worked on that deal because you're coming to Southern Miss where you, I don't know. Maybe he's just going for a paycheck. Who knows? Non-conference, Mississippi State. They damn good well beat Mississippi State. Mississippi State is just not a good team. Jackson State, Louisiana Tech, who you don't know who Louisiana Tech is year by year. They're going to be really good or really bad. And then Jacksonville State, who's a damn good team. Even though they lost Rich Rodriguez to West Virginia, Jacksonville State still got a lot of good players. Georgia State Panthers, 3-9, 1-7. Started 2-1, lost 7 in a row. No conference titles. 3 on offense, 5 on defense. Kicker coming back. Last year, starting back quarterback Christian Valou. He returns, but they lost a lot of their offensive firepower. Running backs, wide receivers, they all departed. 1 O-line starter returns for him. Defense, leading tackler, linebacker Joshua Robinson. He returns. Their non-conference is Ole Miss, Memphis, Murray State, and Vanderbilt. So not too good there. Marshall Thundering Herd, we just talked about, lost their coach to Southern Miss, 10-3, 7-1. Beat Louisiana in the Sunbelt Conference Championship game. Like we said, head coach Charles Huff and quarterback Braylon Braxton left. They went to Southern Miss. 47 players left that program when head coach Charles Huff said he was leaving. This was before the bowl game, too. 47 players. He left because they wouldn't work him a deal. 47 players left. And Marshall, they opted out of that Independence Bowl. I think Army went and played in their place. So they had a lot to freaking do this offseason. 2 on offense, 1 on defense, and the kicker coming back. New head coach Tony Gibson. He brought in 62 players, though. So we'll see if he can fill the gaps. Non-conference, man, Georgia, Missouri State, Eastern Kentucky, Middle Tennessee. And last but not least, the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks, 5-7, 3-5. Started 5-2 last year. Damn good. Started off really damn good. I think they beat James Madison, if I remember right. Anyway, lost the last 6. Last conference title, 2005. Last bowl game they went to was 2012. 4 on offense, 5 on defense, kicker and a punter. Lost their top running back to Missouri. He went to the SEC. Lost quarterback and backup running backs. Only 3 returning O-linemen come back from Monroe. Strength of the defense, returning starters, defensive end Cavonte Wells and defensive end Billy Pullen. Non-conference, St. Francis, Pennsylvania, Alabama, UTEP, and Northwestern. All right, so some of the big games in the South Belt Conference. September 5th, James Madison at Louisville. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. September 6th, Arkansas State at Arkansas. Same day, Texas State goes to UTSA. That's an I-35 battle. They're not too far from each other. September 27th, App State at Boise State. I just keep waiting for App State to turn things around. If they can, this could be a good game. We'll see. Same day, Georgia Southern at James Madison. Both of those two are projected to be two of the top teams in the conference. So that's probably going to be a pretty good game. October 4th, Texas State at Arkansas State. Those two are also projected to be fighting it out at the top of the conference. October 18th, Coastal Carolina at Appalachian State. October 14th, Arkansas State at South Alabama. October 28th, SMU at Texas State. November 1st, Louisiana at South Alabama. November 6th, Georgia Southern at App State. Like I said, I hope you get App State turns things around, because the next week, November 15th, Appalachian State plays James Madison. So if Appalachian State can get that thing turned around, they can be involved in some good games. And then November 20th, Louisiana at Arkansas State. All right, independents here. We only got 2 independents left. The rest of them are joint conferences. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 14-2, won the CFP first round, beat Indiana, won the quarterfinals, beat Georgia, won the semifinals, beat Penn State, lost the national championship game to Ohio State. 5 on offense, 4 on defense, a punter. But since I wrote this, a couple starters aren't going to be back because of injury. So I think they're on offense too. We just mentioned the running back and tight end. So that offensive number of starters just dropped. And they already have to replace half their starters. New quarterback, Heisman candidate, running back Jeremiah Love returns, as does some of the wide receivers. And I don't think it was Love that was hurt, was it? I remember that when we mentioned they had a running back and no, Kendron Young. So it's not Love. Plenty of talent on defense. They got some good guys coming back. Big ones for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Miami, remember Catholics versus convicts 30, 40 years ago. Texas A&M, Boise State, USC, Boston College, Pitt, Syracuse. It's one of the things about being independent. You got to schedule big-time teams, and Notre Dame does. UConn Huskies, 9-4, beat North Carolina in the Fenway Bowl. Man, they really turned things around there in Stores. 6 on offense, 2 on defense, though. Kicker and punter coming back. They got experienced quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Offensive line is kind of mixed. You got veterans and you got transfers. Defense filled with transfers, especially the D-line and the linebackers. They got a lot of transfers in those two areas. Big ones for them, Syracuse, Boston College, Duke. The Pac-2, the mighty Pac-2. Last year for that, they're going to be Pac whatever next year. Washington State Cougars, 8-5, lost to Syracuse in the Holiday Bowl. Started 8-1, lost the last 3 games by 7 points. Last conference title, 2002. 2002. Who was their quarterback? Jason. God, I think his name was Jason something. I forget. But they had a damn good team back then. And Mike Price, wasn't Mike Price? I think that was Mike Price's last year, coaching year at Washington State. Then he left, went to Alabama, got caught with a hooker, paying for a hooker on the credit card. Alabama got rid of him before he even coached the game. I think that was that year. 3 on offense, 3 on defense. New head coach Jimmy Rogers comes from South Dakota State, who's a damn good FCS playoff team, won the national championship. Also brought 11 assistants and players from South Dakota State. So Washington State, watch them this year. It's going to be interesting to see how that transitions into big-time football. Offense is questionable, though, so I don't know how much offensive firepower he brought over from South Dakota State. Defense, though. Defense should be good. Some of their big ones, Idaho, they just lost their coach, but they still got good players on that team. Washington, Ole Miss, Toledo, Oregon State, their annual, what they call it, the Civil War, and James Madison. And the other Pac-2 team, Oregon State Beavers, 5-7, started 4-1. Last year looked good, lost the next 5. Last conference title, 2000. Who's the coach? Mike Riley. And then they had that badass running back, Ken Simonton. I think that was his name. That was they gave Washington their only loss that last year, kept Washington out of the national championship picture. Washington went on won the Rose Bowl that year, but that one loss pretty much kept them out of the BCS top 2. 5 on offense, 3 on defense. Malik Murphy transfers from Duke at quarterback. He's a damn good quarterback. Good O-line coming back. They're veterans, strong wide receiver core. Good transfers came in on defense. Secondary looks pretty good for them. Big ones, Cal, Texas Tech, Oregon, Washington State, Sam Houston. So some of their big games there. All right, so and last but not least, mention this. I watch FCS football. I know a lot of people do. That first Saturday in August when we got those 10 games, there's going to be a couple good FCS games on too. So this is just projected top teams that I took this from all the media, magazines and things I've seen and just made a list. Of course, North Dakota State, South Dakota. You know all three of them are going to be there, as is Montana and Montana State. There's just something about those programs. UC Davis, Villanova, Incarnate Word. I'm not sure about Incarnate Word now that Cazada left and went, where'd he go, Kentucky? They might still be good. Illinois State, Mercer, Tarleton State, Rhode Island, Southeast Missouri, Richmond, who lost their quarterback we just talked about, Abilene Christian, Eastern Tennessee State, Northern Arizona, Eastern Kentucky, Idaho, lost their head coach, but they still got good players from those FCS playoff teams. Lehigh, North Dakota. North Dakota's funny. They're either really good or really bad. You just don't know what you're going to get with them. Chattanooga, Sacramento State, New Hampshire, Jackson State. And like we talked about, you got some good FCS games. Some of the big ones coming up. September 30th, South Dakota State, FCS champions. They're going to Iowa State. Actually, that might be South Dakota. Still, South Dakota, they went to the playoffs, almost got to the championship game. They're going to Iowa State. October 25th, North Dakota State at South Dakota State. Always a classic FCS battle. November 1st, Norfolk State at Delaware State. And then November 22nd, Montana State at Montana. That's always a damn good game, too. All right, so yeah, that's it for the conference previews. We're done. Summer's almost over. Kind of sucks, but football is a couple weeks away. Our next show, which we're going to do next weekend, is going to be weekend preview. We're here. We're almost there. Got that first week off top of my head. Kansas State and Iowa State playing in Ireland, which I wish they'd play here. But anyway, who's it? Fresno State and Kansas. And then the prime game. One of the primetime games. There's a couple of primetime games, but one, Stanford and Hawaii. That one's going to be on CBS that Saturday night. Anyway, we'll go over all that next week. Monday, yeah, it sucks, but what are you going to do? Just, keep your head down. Stay busy, and the weekend will be here again before you know it. Till then, stay safe. We'll see you next time.